Have you ever wondered how the French Revolution, a tumultuous period of radical social and political upheaval, shaped Europe? This seismic event didn't just reshape France, it reverberated across the continent, setting the stage for the modern Europe we know today. We'll be exploring this journey in chronological order, tracing the path from the birth of the Revolution through the Reign of Terror, the rise of Napoleon, and its enduring impact on Europe. So, buckle up as we delve into the annals of history. Our journey begins in 1789, a year etched into history as the start of the French Revolution. This seismic shift was not born in a day, but rather out of a cauldron of simmering tensions and desperation. France had been reeling under the crushing weight of a financial crisis. Extravagant spending on wars and luxuries by the French monarchy had left the country's coffers dry. The common people were burdened with heavy taxes while the nobility enjoyed tax exemptions. This stark social inequality was a tinderbox waiting to explode. A new wind was also blowing across Europe, carrying with it the ideas of the Enlightenment. These were ideas of liberty, fraternity, and equality, principles that questioned the divine right of kings and emphasized human rights. The French people, inspired by these radical ideas, began to question their own oppressive system. In the midst of this, a revolutionary body called the National Assembly was born. It was made up of representatives from the Third Estate, the common people. They took an oath in a tennis court, vowing not to disband until they had given France a new constitution. This was a direct challenge to the absolute power of King Louis XVI, a clear indication that the people were ready to wrest control. Then came the turbulent day of July 14th. The storming of the Bastille, a royal fortress and prison, marked a pivotal moment in the revolution. This act wasn't just about freeing the few prisoners held there, it was symbolic. The Bastille was a hated symbol of the monarchy's absolute power, and its fall was the people's declaration of defiance against the oppressive regime. So, under the shadow of the fallen Bastille and the banner of the National Assembly, the French Revolution was born. It was a revolution against tyranny, against social inequality, and for the rights of the common man. The stage was set, the revolution had begun, and Europe would never be the same. From 1793 to 1794, France was gripped by what came to be known as the Reign of Terror. This period, marked by the rampant use of the guillotine and a fervor for revolutionary ideals, was a time of profound change and upheaval in French society. The Reign of Terror was instigated by the Committee of Public Safety, with Maximilien Robespierre at its helm. Robespierre, a shrewd and charismatic leader, rose to power on the promise of defending the revolution from its enemies. His rule was marked by a ruthless pursuit of those he deemed counter-revolutionaries. The guillotine, an instrument of execution, became a symbol of this era. Its blade fell indiscriminately on nobles, clergy, and commoners alike. Among its most notable victims was King Louis XVI himself, marking the definitive end of the monarchy in France. His execution was more than a political act. It was a symbolic gesture that signaled the radicalization of the revolution. As the revolution raged on, so too did the Reign of Terror. Fear and suspicion permeated every corner of society. Neighbor turned against neighbor, as accusations of counter-revolutionary activity became a common tool of personal vendetta. The guillotine's blade was seldom idle, with estimates of those executed ranging from 16,000 to 40,000. Yet, as with all reigns, the Reign of Terror could not last forever. The paranoia it bred began to turn upon itself. Robespierre, once the revolution's staunchest defender, fell victim to his own system. Accused of tyranny and dictatorship, he was arrested and sent to the guillotine in July 1794. His execution marked the end of the Reign of Terror. The Reign of Terror ended with Robespierre's execution, marking a significant turning point in the revolution. It was a period of intense fear and violence, but also of profound change. It reshaped France's political landscape, setting the stage for the rise of a new power, Napoleon Bonaparte. But that, dear listeners, is a story for another time. Following the chaos of the revolution, a new leader emerged, Napoleon Bonaparte. Amidst the disorder, he was a beacon of stability and order. But who was this man, really? Napoleon Bonaparte was more than just a military general. He was a man of ambition, a reformer, and a leader who would leave an indelible mark on French society. Napoleon's rise to power was a tale of opportunity meeting ambition. He capitalized on the power vacuum left by the revolution, rising through the ranks to become the first consul of France by the end of 1799. His knack for military strategy and his charismatic leadership style quickly solidified his position. But it wasn't just his military prowess that made Napoleon a remarkable leader. He was also a reformer, making sweeping changes that would shape France for generations to come. The Napoleonic Code, for example, was a comprehensive set of laws that offered a legal framework for property, colonial affairs, the family, and individual rights. It was a revolutionary piece of legislation, reflecting the Enlightenment ideals of equality and rationality that had fueled the revolution itself. Napoleon's influence extended beyond the confines of France. His military campaigns, known as the Napoleonic Wars, reshaped the geopolitical landscape of Europe. But these campaigns were not just about territorial expansion. They were also a means of spreading revolutionary ideals, of replacing outdated feudal systems with modern administrative structures. However, Napoleon's ambitions were not without their consequences. His aggressive expansionist policies put him at odds with other European powers, leading to a series of conflicts that would come to be known as the Napoleonic Wars. These wars would leave a lasting impact on Europe, setting the stage for the political and social changes to come. Napoleon's reign brought stability to France, but his ambitions would soon plunge Europe into war. His legacy is a complex one, a blend of military genius, innovative reforms, and unbridled ambition. As we delve deeper into the impact of the French Revolution on Europe, we'll continue to see the ripple effects of Napoleon's rule. The French Revolution and Napoleon's rule brought profound changes to Europe. This isn't just a statement, it's a testament to the seismic shifts that rippled out from France to the entire continent. One of the most significant changes was the spread of nationalism. This powerful ideology, born from the fires of revolution and nurtured by Napoleon's rule, kindled the hearts of people across Europe. The concept of a nation, defined by a shared culture, language, and history, rather than by the whims of a monarch, was revolutionary. It was a radical departure from the old order, and it resonated with people from the Iberian Peninsula to the steppes of Russia. The ripple effects didn't stop there. The borders of Europe, long defined by the territorial ambitions of monarchs and the happenstance of history, were redrawn. Napoleon's conquests and the subsequent wars reshaped the map of Europe. Old empires were dismantled, new nations were born, and some territories changed hands multiple times. This redrawing of borders was more than just a geographical change. It was a political and social transformation that redefined identities and allegiances. At the heart of these changes was the rise of liberal ideas. The French Revolution was, in many ways, the birth of modern political ideology. It championed the ideas of liberty, equality, and fraternity, principles that continue to guide political thought to this day. These ideas spread across Europe, challenging the old order and laying the groundwork for the political and social changes that would follow. In the aftermath of the Napoleonic Wars, European leaders convened in the Congress of Vienna. Their goal? To restore balance and prevent any single nation from dominating the continent. The Congress of Vienna was a pivotal moment in European history. It marked the beginning of a new era, one defined by a delicate balance of power and a commitment to maintaining the status quo. The French Revolution not only transformed France, but it also left an indelible mark on the entire continent. It was a catalyst for change, a spark that ignited a fire that continues to shape Europe to this day. The echoes of the French Revolution continue to resonate even today. Our journey through the tumultuous events of the late 18th century has led us to understand the profound changes brought about by this period. The French Revolution was more than just a domestic upheaval. It was a seismic shift that shook the very foundations of Europe. We began with the birth of the Revolution, a time of hope and promise, a period that saw the rise of ideas that would forever alter the fabric of society. Liberty, equality, fraternity. These were not just words, they were a call to arms, a cry for change that reverberated across the continent. Then came the Reign of Terror, a dark and bloody chapter that bore witness to the destructive potential of revolution. This was a stark reminder that change often comes at a heavy price. The rise of Napoleon, a figure who dominated Europe for over a decade, was a direct consequence of the revolution. His influence extended far beyond the borders of France, leaving a lasting imprint on the political landscape of Europe. The impact of the French Revolution on Europe was profound. It challenged long-standing monarchies, sparked nationalistic fervor, and laid the groundwork for the modern political ideologies of democracy and republicanism. In the grand theater of history, the French Revolution stands as a pivotal act that reshaped Europe and the world. That's a wrap for today, folks. If you enjoyed, tap that like button. Don't miss out on the fun. Subscribe to stay tuned. The excitement is just beginning.